Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Wednesday, July the 27th, 2022. All right, let's get right into it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 9. It was really good. So just to knock out a few people, we see Sonny and Alex. So he's very happy to see that his brother is back. They're bonding and everything. And I'm not going to hold you long on this because it wasn't much. Then Bunny comes in. And so Alex starts saying, "You're the woman who killed my mother." And he grabs the tie, y'all. I said, really? Y'all already going to make a reference to, I thought his name was I get the necktie killer and everything. Anyways, he was just joking with Bunny. He's not really going to kill her. He knows, that if anything happened to his mother, that she was probably behind it, because she was no saint and everything. And so he's just like, I'm happy, to get to know you. So then Bunny is like feeling all on Alex abs and all that kind of stuff and everything. And then Justin comes in, and Justin says, "Oh, I see you getting to know my son." So they all sit down and they say, "Alex, what are your plans?" He said, "I am not going to be in Phoenix. It is too hot to be out there this summer." He said, "So I plan on staying here." And he was like, and chilling. Then he starts speaking to Sonny, and he said, "Well, why don't I go into the office with you?" He was like, "You understand me, and the twins, they don't be getting me all the time." And Justin said, "I didn't know y'all were having problems." He said, "Just differences in opinion in regards to business." But anyways, Alex tells Sonny he wants to work with him. Sonny is not 100% sure about it, but he goes ahead and gives in, and that's it with it, y'all. All right, so now earlier, Justin had been with Steve, and Steve wanted to know would Justin be taking any type of revenge on Orpheus, because he said when Orpheus killed your wife, I had to talk you off the ledge because you came up on Orpheus with the gun and you were about to kill him or whatever. And then Orpheus says, "That's what I want to know." So then Orpheus comes in and he sits down and he's acting all humble with Justin, talking about, "I'm sorry about your wife. I didn't mean to do it. That was a complete accident and everything." And Justin tells him, "I have 4 boys to live for." You know what Justin says? "You're not worth it. You're not worth going to jail behind. You're not worth getting in trouble behind. You're not worth any of that. So you're dead to me already. So I don't have to worry about you. I don't have to kill you. You're dead already." So then Justin leaves and he said, "Good talking to you, Steve." And then Orpheus stayed with Steve. And I said, okay, so his main objective was not Justin, it is Steve. Because Steve says, "Why don't you just go somewhere else?" And he said, "Yeah, I mean, I want to be just Milo Harp from a short order cook or something like that," he says. And Steve says, "Well, why don't you just go somewhere else and do that?" He said, "Well, I guess I could go somewhere else. I'm thinking about going west." And Steve said, "How far west?" And he said, "Seattle. Want me to check in on your kids?" And Joey, Steph, Trip, and stuff. And I said, "Orpheus, what you trying to do?" I said, "Oh, you want to cause problem with Steve. You don't care about Justin." And so Justin said, "Don't threaten me and my family because we're going to have problems." And then Orpheus said, "Oh, nobody was threatening your family or whatever. But if it's a problem with me moving west, I'll stay right here, whatever." And that's all he was trying to do in the first place. Let's move on, because Steve, when Orpheus left, Steve had a look like, "I'm going to get that man." All right, so then we see Eric, Nicole, and Rafe. So we see Eric, Nicole, and Rafe, and we see that Nicole cannot walk, so she tells Rafe, "Go find the person who did this to me, and Eric can take me to the hospital." Rafe finally agrees to do this, and I'm not gonna hold you long on that. So then Eric takes Nicole to the hospital. I'm sorry, y'all. Mila is getting her second hour. She gets 2 hours of TV time, and she's getting it now, so she's rather loud. Anywho, so Eric and Nicole make it to the hospital and everything. And she tells him she's okay, she's good, but she's shaken up. She says, "Oh my God, if you hadn't come, I could be hurt. Like, there's no telling what that guy could have done to me." So then Kayla comes in and she checks out Nicole, and it is a sprain. And she tells Nicole, "You could be released and everything, but get a lot of rest." And she tells Nicole, "Speak to Marlena. Like, you've been through a traumatic experience. You need to speak to someone and get help." So then, y'all, we go to Jake. Greg is the crook's name, the robber's name, and Ava. And Jake tells that he says, give the ring. And Nicole said, I mean, yeah. And Ava said, here, you can have this ring. But Jake was like, heck no, he can't have that ring. And so Jake starts approaching the man saying, you don't know who you're messing with. And then the man shot him. And so Jake goes to the ground and Ava goes over him. And she's like, oh my God, you shot him or whatever. What's wrong with you? So then Ava is about to call 911 and he was like, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm calling an ambulance. And then he was about to shoot Ava too because he said, I can't let you do that. She tells him, just leave. I won't tell anybody. And he's like, I can't trust that lady or whatever. So he won't leave. And Greg won't leave. So then we see Rafe and Jada talk, and he tells her about, the thing, everything happened with Nicole, and she says, where's she now? And he tells her in the hospital with her ex-husband. And she said, I was like, what now? And he said, it's not like that, Jada. It's not like that, or whatever. And she said, okay. But anyways, he informs her about, the robber, the mugger, and everything, starting with the pub. And she's like, okay. And so then they get a alert that says someone's been shot. So then we see they all come to the spot in front of the jewelers because that's where they got the alert for. And they see Jake on the ground and he's about to shoot Ava. Like Greg is about to kill her. And Rafe comes and he says, drop your weapon. And so they tell him to drop it or whatever. And he's like, he's still trying to show him, like, sir, run. What are you doing? Right? How is shooting her going to be like, what are you doing? And so anyways, he has his finger on the trigger and it looks like he's about to pull, and Jada said, we ain't got time for this. And so she goes ahead and she shoots him dead. And so she kills him, and Ava tells Rafe, I can't stop the bleeding. I don't, I'm putting pressure, but I can't stop the bleeding. And so then they make it to the hospital because, Kayla had got an alert when she was with Eric and Nicole that a gunshot victim was coming in, and she sees that it was Jake, and she tells Nicole, I'm going to we're going to put him in the surgery and everything. And they're like, okay. So then Rafe goes and speaks to Eric and Nicole, and he tells them, excuse me, Rafe goes and speak to Eric and Nicole, and he tells them that they caught the mugger. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. And they were like, he was trying to rob Ava, and they was like, oh, is she okay? And they were like, yeah, she's okay. He was like, she's okay. And then they said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that happened before anybody could get hurt. And they said, actually, he tells them, actually, Jake was with her and he was shot. And they were like, what? And they were like, how bad is it? And they were like, told them that he's going to surgery now. And they're like, oh my goodness. Because he let them know that Jada was the one who shot him. So then we see that Jada is talking to Ava. And she's just like, do you want something? Do you need anything? And Ava's like, I'm good. And then she keeps trying to comfort Ava. And Ava said, listen, lady, I don't know what you heard about me, but this isn't the first time I've seen somebody get shot in front of me. She said, but it is the first time she saw somebody that she cared about, get shot in front of her. And so Ava's shook it up. And so Jada says, listen, you're going to need your strength for Jake. Surgery's going to take a long time. You're going to need your strength. So I'm going to get you something, a granola bar and something to drink. And Ava accepts that. So when Jada is going to do this, Eric is there. He was leaving out, but he stops when he sees her because he left Rafe and Nicole alone, to be with each other after a traumatic event. And he sees Ava and she's like shaking up. And she was like, I killed a man today. He's like, she's like, I killed a man today. And he said, I heard. And he was like, life is precious and everything, but it sounded like you had no choice but to do this. And she said, it's never going to get easier or whatever. But he just comforts Jada. Eric just comforts Jada and everything. So then we see Nicole and Rafe talking, and she asked him, how's Ava? And he said, not good. He said, she was like, I didn't know they were that close, she and Jake. And he said, I didn't either until I saw her reaction. And you could tell that she's really shaken up and visibly, she's really upset about Jake. He said, excuse me. So I guess they were closer than what we thought, than what anybody thought they were. And I said, yeah, very close. Because if y'all had paid attention, she had a ring on her finger. And if y'all had got her statement or anything, you would know that, he had just proposed to her and everything. And so they just hold each other and everything, because it could have easily been Nicole. So then we see Ava and Kayla. And so Ava and Kayla comes out, and Nicole said, surgery's over, because it was fast. And she was like, surgery's over already? And Kayla said, no, we didn't make it to surgery. And she was like, what? Ava was just like, what? And she said, he coded when we were taking him to the operating room. And Kayla is just like, then we took him to the ER, and the team, the trauma unit or something they took him to. She said they tried to work on him, and Ava's just like, no. And Kayla was like, Ava, he didn't make it. And it was real sad, y'all, because y'all know I like me some Jake. I do. I really do like me some Jake, and I like him with Ava. So I'm very disappointed. But some kind of way, I don't know how true it is, but they say some kind of way Ava and Jake are gonna end up being together. I don't know. I have no clue. But anyways, I was really sad by this to, see Jake go this way, because I'm like, okay, Ava's finally starting to get her life together, trying to be straight and narrow, and she's lost Jake. And I don't know. But y'all, that was Days of Our Lives today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Bye.